I hope everyone out there is having an incredible Thanksgiving today. And to celebrate, I actually want to spend some time here on the channel today going through all of the things that I am thankful for about Deadlock. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and I'm excited to do this today. Like I've said in previous videos, Thanksgiving isn't exactly my favorite holiday, at least like the rituals associated with celebrating it, I'm not a huge fan of, just, you know, certain family past, all that kind of stuff. But in any case, today is a really great day to express gratitude. I'm a firm believer in expressing gratitude and expressing my thanks. So what better thing to kind of point that towards positively than Deadlock? So without further ado, here are all the things that I am thankful for about Deadlock. One thing that me and Atlas here are both thankful for in Deadlock is the Hideout, actually. This is just hilarious that she's hanging out here for this. So yeah, I love I think when the Hideout came out, I actually made a whole video just about it. I love Atlas just creeping here. It's so distracting. It's so funny. When the Hideout first came out, I was just a huge fan. I felt like this was one of those things that added a ton of flavor and personality to the game, and honestly just kind of creates a vibe for Deadlock, right? So, I mean, in particular, what I mean here is that I talked about this extensively in another video, but with the Hideout, you know, it affects the way we measure Deadlock as a game, because I really believe we measure games from the moment we boot it up to the moment we shut it down, and kind of everything in between is really how we kind of catalog our experience of how good or bad of a game it really is. So that includes things like load times, menus, etc. You can go to those. Obviously gameplay is the core part of that, but the Hideout really adds like so much flavor around the actual game. It gives you a cozy place to feel like you're hanging out. It sets the whole tone for the game. It allows you to decompress after games, after you've been playing with your friends, all that kind of stuff. Like it's a super cool spot. Valve, I hope you do more with the Hideout. I fully expect that you will. But in any case, really a huge fan of the Hideout and Deadlock. I have and I can talk about this for so long, but I'll stop right there. The next thing, and I really want these to be pretty all over the place, I'm very thankful for Valve as a developer for Deadlock. So, and Atlas is, you know, clearly a fan of this as well as she comes back into frame, but Valve has really, I really have genuinely appreciated the way the game's been developed so far. And I feel like right now, the period of the game's history that we're in is such a special moment, honestly, because it feels like we have, you know, those who have been here since the beginning, or at least for like the past roughly year or so, it really feels like this has kind of been like our little secret in some ways. Like everyone came into the game, huge influx of players, people have come and go, like popular streamers have come and go, but there's been like kind of this core, I don't know, 60 to 70,000 people that probably play this game pretty regularly off and on. That gives us our kind of current, you know, concurrent player counts that we have currently. That's a crazy sentence to say, but I think, again, the way the game is developed and kind of where we are in terms of the game's history is a really special moment, honestly. And I really appreciate Valve, not only one, for the way they've developed the game so far, but also just for allowing the community to have a very clear say and to give clear feedback on what we want and what we don't want from the game. And it really feels like a lot of those things have earnestly been taken to heart, and Valve has iterated on those, and they have made it to a final product. One of the funniest examples is like the way Victor travels along the zip line. That was just something that was brought up in a forum post. Valve thought it was funny, or the developer did, or whoever, and it actually gets into the game. So as someone who has followed a lot of games previously, I've been a gamer since the 90s, you know, I'm an old head. This feels like one of the most uniquely developed games that I can ever remember, and it's been such a pleasure to be a part of Deadlock's community so far, to see all the changes. And so Valve, explicitly, I want to say thank you for the game you've built so far, for the way you've been developing it. I'll probably talk more about you later in the video because I have a lot of, you know, I really feel positively about you as a developer. So thanks, Valve. But any case, very thankful for Valve, and again, just kind of the chapter of where we're at right now in Deadlock's history. I'm also very thankful for grassroots esports, and in particular, just the way the Deadlock esports community has operated so far. This is a lot of the reason why. I mean, on screen right now, we have Deadlock Night Shift. I have been a avid Deadlock esports viewer since day one. I feel like I can honestly claim that. I remember watching all of the old Deadlock Fight Night stuff. I think I used to cover some in article form. I've done even, I think, a video or two on this channel about it. But this esports scene in particular reminds me of like the old Apex days of Overwatch, like early pre-Overwatch League stuff, when that game was really finding its footing. And I'm sure every game has had their own iteration of this, but I just feel like I love the personality of Deadlock's esports scene. That goes from the way the casters on Deadlock Night Shift do their job. So Jason Kaplan, ZP, Dan, Jake, when Mitch is on, when Puckett's on, I think that's a really good crew, and the way that crew meshes is really positive. Just creates a really positive vibe. I think the whole tone of that broadcast in particular is good, but this also extends outside of just DNS or DFN, whatever you want to call it, right? Deathy's Death Slam stuff. The Dead Air podcast did some esports. One Win had done some esports stuff for a long time. This is just, it's been really cool to see a game in alpha actually get a little bit of an esports scene, a glimpse of what it could be. Because I think obviously we all know that Deadlock Esports is going to be this monumental thing when it really reaches its apex as a game. But right now, at least getting some shred of it has been really fun. I think the energy behind it has been really positive. And just as an esports fan, and in particular as a fan of like grassroots esports, I am really appreciative of the Deadlock esports scene so far. Atlas, what do you think? We like Deadlock esports? Yeah, Atlas likes Deadlock esports as well, so we're very thankful here. And kind of on the same community note, I just want to express a lot of gratitude for the other Deadlock creators out there. I actually, I'm relatively new to covering this game and being a part of this kind of creator community, if you want to call us that. But I mean, we're less than 100 videos total as a channel, which feels pretty new. But there are a lot of incredible creators who do all kinds of different stuff. Like everyone has their own kind of scope. A lot of us cross over with what we do, but it's all a really good vibe. Like I genuinely try to go comment on like an Ansonex video or a Chonkla video or a Big Ben video or Midlock or Yoshi, or not Yoshi, Deathy, like Metro. Like I really try to get around to all the other creators' videos because I genuinely appreciate them. And I very much believe in a rising tide raises all ships. And so when I go to watch another creators' videos, I'm always very stoked to do so. Not only because I just respect them and their work, but it's a way for me to learn. It's a way for me to gain perspective. And again, I'm very thankful. I feel like the tone and a lot of the energy of the Deadlock kind of creator community, especially between creators, has been super positive. I think because we all get it that it's a rising tide raises all ships kind of thing. But nonetheless, if you are a Deadlock creator, I may not have mentioned you by name. I've probably watched one of your videos, and thank you for doing what you do. I genuinely appreciate it. We have some rock star creators out there, so if you appreciate our channel, thank you. But please go check out other Deadlock creators as well. We genuinely have a really good group of them here, so very thankful for you all. Thank you. Next thing, again, I want this to be all over the place. I'm very thankful for the most recent patch. Number one, because I think that the laning changes in particular, I'm a huge fan of. And even not just the patch, but the 3 hotfixes after it, I think should be included in that same bundle. And I think they've all been spot on. I think devs have been so proactive in kind of, keeping problems from getting too out of hand. Like, I know they nerfed Deathball. I never really encountered a huge problem with Deathball because they nerfed it so quickly after the patch. Same thing with the really exorbitant weapon damage that was happening early on. So the dev team, this is kind of another shout out to the dev team. I think they deserve a lot of credit for this game. They deserve a massive amount of the credit for this game, obviously. But again, I'm just very grateful for the patch, what it has done to the game. I think that sets us up really positively for the December updates that are likely coming and should just have us in a really good spot. So I'm loving the game right now. Billy is probably going to wear me out at some point, and I'm going to end up hating this meta just like any other meta in the past. But anyway, for the time being, I really have enjoyed it. I think the changes are in a good direction, and I think Valve is doing a really good job of walking the line between hero shooter and MOBA, and that is the constant tightrope I think they're going to have to walk. Let's not just make this a Dota 2 clone. Let's not just make this an Overwatch clone or Rivals or whatever. Let's have this be something purely new and its own kind of unique flavor, and I think they've been doing a phenomenal job. So devs, hats off, especially on this latest patch. Well done. And again, kind of on that same note, I'm very thankful for the uniqueness and the individuality of Deadlock. Maybe this is just me and I just have a personal problem. This could just be a soapbox moment, but I'm really over just the unoriginality and the IP focus of like Hollywood and gaming right now. Atlas is too. She's walking out of the room. She's sick of it. But it feels like there's no creativity, at least at the forefront of a lot of creation these days, where it just feels like it's grab X IP, sap all the value out of it as we can, and then move on. And I feel like things like Game of Thrones kind of started this, but I mean, it's just really what cinematic universe or what game universe are we talking about? And Deadlock is so counterintuitive against that. The art style is unique. Every hero is unique. Sure, they might be pulling on old iterations from old games that they've created, but it's not like they poached some IP. And so, again, no shade against Marvel Rivals. I think it's probably a great game, but I have had no interest in playing a game like Marvel Rivals because there's no individuality or heart to it that is purely its own. It is taking things that have been created by other folks and plugging and playing them. It feels like it's using the IP to make some money, and I'm just super jaded against stuff like that. So, not to soapbox too much, I could yap about it for a long time. I could probably make a whole video about this, but the individuality and the uniqueness of Deadlock is really the thing that brought me to it. Atlas totally agrees. I'm going to use her walking in and out as commentary for sure. She really agrees. She's coming over to say hi. So yeah, very thankful for Deadlock's individuality and uniqueness. This one's going to sound really, really funny, but I am genuinely thankful that leaks have been happening in Deadlock. I think it is actually one of those things where I'm sure a lot of people who have been a part of game development may really hate leaks and may really hate the sentiments behind this, but leaks are so good for the community, I genuinely think. And particularly for the community who's really been bought in. Because leaks don't really matter for the 160,000 number that came in right when Deadlock came out, like that concurrent player count, the huge rush of players that came in. They probably aren't necessarily paying attention to leaks. But even those players, if they were to see one, it could like pique their interest and get them to come back to the game. But for the diehard players that have been sticking around and have so much vested interest in this game, for folks like me that are trying to make at least a partial career out of this game, we love leaks because it shows us that stuff's happening. It gives us an insight into the development cycle, how Valve goes about testing heroes, tinkering with heroes, doing things. It just drums up so much excitement and keeps us kind of ready for the next thing. I really feel like it's helped us, especially in the alpha period, to get through some of these long content droughts. So Valve, I'm sure you hate the leakers. I'm sure you hate all of us that cover leaks and everything about leaks for your game. I'm sure you're not a huge fan of. Maybe you don't care, and that's fine too. But we genuinely love it. I genuinely love it here. It gives us all something to get excited about, talk about. It's always just a fun thing, again, to pass the time in between content updates. So thankful for the leaks. Keep them coming. We'll keep covering them. And I wanted to save this one for the end because I really do feel so passionately about this. And I know the people who typically watch towards the end of my videos are the people who watch the most of my videos anyway. So if you've stuck around this long, I want to say thank you so much to the community, and in particular, the community that has been with the channel for a long time. This channel is, like I said, less than 100 views. I view this as a relatively new project overall. I hope to be covering Deadlock for a very long time. I have no intention of stopping doing this. And that would never have been possible without the early momentum the channel had. And if you are someone who has been around some of those very first videos, maybe you came around and we had less than 1,000 subs, or anyone from that time in particular, I would call you all the OGs. Thank you all so much. It's funny, I saw the word of the year on the social media the other day was parasocial, and I've started to really resonate with why that word is so powerful right now in modern society, because I genuinely feel a connection between people who comment on the videos pretty frequently. Like, I recognize profile pictures, especially like members. I recognize a lot of names and folks that come by the channel frequently. And it does feel like we have formed our own little slice of the community here at Dead Unlocked. And so, I don't know. That's so cool. That's like a crazy thing to be real. I never would have thought that would have been the case. So I can't say it enough, and I really don't have words to express the gratitude I have for everyone who stops by the channel. And like I said, in particular, if you're someone who comes by frequently and you really appreciate the content we have here, thank you so much. I mean, that has been the fuel that has kept me going. I obviously have my own personal ambition, but that's hard without support and backup. So thank you all so much for your support on the channel, genuinely. Without you all, none of this is possible. I truly mean that. I keep making videos for you, the fans who come by to watch. So thank you all so much on this Thanksgiving. I want the biggest thanks to be said to you all who watch the videos, who come by, especially my OGs out there. Thank you all so much. I genuinely love the comments, especially when it's a face that I know has commented multiple times, and it's just like talking to a friend about Deadlock. So anyway, I'll quit yapping about that. I get emotional, but thank you all so much for your support on the channel. I really do mean it. All right, I got Atlas to sit, so I have to do this now. Atlas, thank you. You did a great job. I just wanted to wrap up the video here, but thank you all so much for tuning in. I wanted this to be lighthearted. I didn't have any plans on what I was going to say here. I could have yapped about a lot more specific things, but I just wanted there to be something coming out on Thanksgiving for those that follow the channel. And a way for, again, the point of this channel is always going to be to have some air of positivity to it. I feel like so often internet discourse is just about negativity and farming clips and views based on like negative reactions to things, and I never really want that to be what this channel is about unless it's really warranted that we need to call something out, in which case we'll always do so. But in any case, from me and Atlas and everyone here at Dead Unlocked, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do support it. I hope you had a great holiday. We'll have another video tomorrow. I genuinely want to have a video a day this week and keep that promise. So anyway, from our house to yours, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see y'all next time here at Dead Unlocked. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hi. There's Atlas. She's so mad. She's so angry. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Woo! Atlas is so angry with me. Aren't you? Yeah. See y'all.